All right, here we are coming to you live from OSCON. I'm here with Dustin Whittle. Dustin, how are you?
I'm excellent.
So now you are at AppDynamics and you're a technical evangelist.
That is correct.
So tell us a little bit, what does AppDynamics do?
Yeah, we provide application performance management for Java, .NET, and PHP applications. So you deploy our agent, we automatically discover what does your application topology look like, we automatically instrument all of your business transactions, and then we figure out what does healthy look like for your application. So when you have performance problems, the biggest issue is how do you respond to them. Nowadays you have highly distributed service-oriented architectures, and the real problem is where do you look for the line of code that's gone wrong. So what we do is we figure out what does healthy look like for each specific business transaction, and then we give you line of code visibility, and you can actually follow all the way from the client side capturing browser errors to multiple tiers on the server side, as well as all the way down to the database level. So we give you really complete visibility into your production application with minimal overhead.
So who would actually be looking at the data that's coming out? Is it actually the developers? Is it DevOps folks?
It's amazing. It's so wide. We have everybody from application owners, developers, operations. So developers use us in pre-production for optimizing. Application owners use us in production to just get visibility into performance problems. But we also do business intelligence. So you can track any metric through AppDynamics, and then you can graph it out. So it really just depends on who wants that data. We track all the performance of your application as well as any custom actions. So it's very easy to get insight into your application. So it really just depends on who needs what information.
Okay, and then as we look into the future, and people are doing development for the cloud, obviously, that's the mode these days. What are some of the issues that people are having to face or need to take into account?
Yeah, so the cloud's really interesting. The cloud is, I think, a made-up word for data centers, but it's new and improved. I think the real issue comes down to commodity hardware. The performance varies so much. When you build in the cloud, you got to build. It has to be robust, has to be resilient. So there's all sorts of problems. Whether it's a noisy neighbor, somebody else that's sharing your physical hardware is causing performance problems, to the disk I/O over the network is extremely slow. It's getting visibility into that, as well as once you have multiple data centers, or if you're using AWS availability zones, what does the performance look like between different regions? I think that's a really interesting problem to solve. The cloud makes it really easy to have hardware in multiple physical locations around the world. So if you have a worldwide audience, it really makes sense to minimize latency in each region. I think these are sort of the problems to face. And one of the ways that you can do that is with our end user monitoring. You get visibility into what is the actual end user response time in Australia versus California versus Virginia. And that varies greatly depending on network speed, as well as in the cloud, you have all these performance factors that are outside of your control. A lot of times when you have a situation like a noisy neighbor, the only thing you can do is kill your instance, start a new one, and really you need insight into that. How do you know if that's the problem? I think these are the challenges moving forward. I think mobile is a really interesting space. It's not just the cloud, but also everybody has a mobile app, so how do you get insight into that mobile experience is also a compelling thing. I think these are the biggest problems these days.
And then last but not least, just to end with, APIs are obviously important in the world of software, and no more have they become so important, if I'm saying this correctly, as they have in the cloud. What do you all do do you do anything with APIs?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually just announced AppDynamics X, which is our extensions gallery. So the AppDynamics Exchange is where we work with all of our partners as well as with the open source community. So if you want to monitor Nginx or Cassandra or HBase or Apache, you can now do that very easily. You pipe all of that data into AppDynamics. But not only that, through our machine agent, you can track any custom metric you want, and then you get the full feature set of AppDynamics. So dynamic baselining to figure out when things are healthy over time, as well as any data that you put into AppDynamics, you can get out through our REST API. And we offer SDKs for Java and Python, and we're adding more all the time. So I think it's your data. The biggest issue is, hey, it's your performance data. You can use it however you want. Not only do we provide great custom dashboards that you can mix and match to solve your business problems, but if you want to create your own using our REST API, it's completely possible.
Awesome. Dustin Whittle, thanks so much.
Thank you.